I've been looking a lot at Zorro Ranch. So here's the guy who bought it. I'm telling you guys, this 𝗪𝗡𝗍𝗋 guy is like, this guy is not normal, boss. I mean, look at this couple, bro. These are the people who bought the Epstein, the Zorro Ranch. That's Don 𝗪𝗡𝗋𝗋 and his wife. His son, Russell, is in Trump's cabinet. So these guys, the parents of Trump's cabinet member, bought this ranch. And yeah, man, they look like freakish. I mean, she looks a tiny bit like Nicole Kidman. If like Nicole Kidman got stuffed inside Stephen Miller's body, don't you see that with her? Doesn't she look like Nicole Kidman with Stephen Miller's fucking hairline, bro? Something is very wrong. I mean, are they first cousins or what? Dude, was this like a sister wife scenario or what? But I'm serious. She looks like Nicole Kidman with a seriously fucked up hair. Dude, Nicole Kidman with the devil's hairline, bro. Jesus. What are we doing, bro? Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. I mean, she looks a little like Nicole Kidman. I really see that. If you cover up her fucking head, right? If you cover up the top of her head, like, tell me that she doesn't look a little bit like Nicole Kidman's fucking, right? Right? And then you're like, whoa, 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 whoa! Oh, shit, boss. Dude, please make my eyes go wide shut, bro. So that's the 𝗪𝗡𝗋𝗋s. These are the guys who bought Zorro Ranch. Dude, eyes shut tight. That's what it is, dude. Eyes shut tight. All right, I don't want to judge, but there's some shit going down. Some people were talking about this, about 𝗪𝗡𝗋, okay? Which is 𝗪𝗡𝗋s Enterprises Science and Technology, a venture capital firm focusing on biotech, and Don 𝗪𝗡𝗋𝗋s and his son, who is in the Trump cabinet, is vice president. So guys, this is what people were freaking out with today. Because think about this set of circumstances where we have reports, more than one report, guys, about Zorro Ranch. Now, there's been talk about baby. Some of it seems fantastical. Baby cloning, tissue research, research on, I don't know, could be stem cell, whatever. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein spent a lot of money in a lot of scientific areas. He was very into academia and very into like research of all kinds. He was very connected to the scientific community. He gave him a lot of money, guys. A lot of it. Epstein went to all kinds of scientific conventions. He used to take girls with him. He would take Virginia Giuffre with him. And then he would, sometimes pawn her off on some of these guys. Epstein himself was not educated. He didn't have advanced degrees, but he was incredibly narcissistic. And he thought he was like as smart as the smartest people on the planet. Okay. He was one of those guys. And so then he bought his way into the rooms with the smartest researchers on the planet. Now, he also had this thing about, this eugenics idea. And with that narcissism, believing that he was kind of like some type of probably demigod or something, wanting to sort of like populate a whole strain of like Epstein intelligent beings or whatever. Now, the conjecture around Zorro Ranch was multiple women who have been here, multiple survivors have said that there were underground, like tunnels and an underground surveillance area and just a rather extensive underground, complex here at this ranch, which I'll be honest, guys, I think with a lot of these billionaire types, I think underground tunnels and whatever spaces are not that uncommon. Okay. I really do. I think underground bunkers or whatever are getting pretty common with these sort of billionaire set people. But whether he was doing research, we don't know. Now, there are some crazier survivors. Okay, there is the Juliet Bryant who says she woke up in a lab. She insists that she woke up in a lab in Zorro Ranch and that they like drugged her and were experimenting on her. Now, she has not gotten a lot of mainstream press on this particular scenario. Blair White had her on not too long ago. I think Owen Schroyer had her on. She's been featured on more of the InfoWars circuit. She talks about some outlandish shit, guys, but she also says Jeffrey Epstein was a shapeshifter and things like that. And now I've had some interaction with this woman that, like, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this because it's obvious that she was terrorized and has been abused, but I don't know, like, if a lot of the other shit she's talking about is accurate or not. The shapeshifter stuff was what definitely sort of lost me. But there have been claims about Zorro Ranch. Here's one of the prime ones, guys, about the possibility of buried bodies. So we have a number of claims that sort of loom over Zorro being elevated a little bit into the mainstream because of, everybody's freaked out. Everybody's looking for answers. The documents they released have had some pretty outlandish claims of, babies getting thrown overboard and all this crazy shit. So there's a lot going on. Now, that doesn't preclude that, like, there could be some kind of weird shit going on underneath this building. There could be some type of research. There could be some type of technology being explored here. And let me just say this, guys. There were some emails about the internet. The proposal presented attached NDAs, confidentiality agreements. Like, isn't that weird that you would have NDAs and confidentiality agreements involved in, like, installing internet, bringing internet to your house? Doesn't that seem a little, like, strange? Like, why would they have that? It's like, it's just a little unusual. Yeah, bunker internet. So, guys, it was these emails about the internet that first sort of, like, caught my attention. When they sold it, they took pictures and they show the inside of this thing, and we can do a little virtual tour. This is pretty interesting when you see it. I mean, the rooms, look at that crazy long hall. Like, it's pretty fucking wild with these expansive windows. Look at that, the crazy ceilings and chandeliers. I mean, this thing was very, aristocratically designed. If you look at it, it feels very much like a king's palace. The beamed ceilings and shit. Insane kitchen. It's a little weird with the rustic nature, but dude, have a full library. The outside was pretty wild. You'll notice this was very much like the island too. He seemed to like those outdoor archways, but it is very, like, it reminds me of like a French palace. Like, it was pretty big, dude. Right? There's the helicopter pad and the stone details around everything, the grasses. It had several other units, housing units or what have you. It's pretty. It's definitely pretty, dude. It's very like a southwestern Greek palace. I really like the way it looks at night. It's amazing looking at night. The night shots with the huge walls of windows. I do love those desert houses with the huge walls of windows and shit. But it also had like guest houses and stables and shit like that. Tennis and basketball courts. It's pretty fucking schmancy, dude. So what's interesting about the land is the land is 7,500 acres, but he didn't own the land. The land was public land that he rented, he leased from the state, $200 a year, right? $200 a year for 7,500 acres, which is suspect. This thing is palatial, dude. It's so crazy. It's like the scale of it is pretty wild, dude. And there's several other like residences on the place. There's a private airstrip right here. Right? Did you see that? That's the airstrip. There's a parking area for a small airplane. In fact, if you look at this, guys, I think this might actually be here. If you look at the ground, I think this is actually at that location. Okay? Look. You see the X and the way the ground looks? I'm pretty sure that this is them at this fucking location. Look at the dry shrubs. This is them here. Here's the airstrip. People could land privately here. This is definitely at Zorro. Right on that piece of concrete, dude. They're literally right there. I mean, different time of year. Because there's no green here. It's all yellow, but it's just different time of year, right? This looks like it was taken during the summer, probably when everything is scorched. The other one may be a winter shot. Because here's what it normally looks like. Normally looks like that. This is 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀. Okay, this is his assistant. You know, there should be some consequences for these women, but they're to this day has not. They got immunity in that original deal, and they have not been tried or looked at. But anyway, guys, Trump is connected to the people who bought that ranch, and Don Huffines and his son have a company that does stem cell research. So, like, the guys who bought this, I mean, I know it's just feeding like conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory. Now, it's a little weird that you have this ranch that some of the survivors say there's testing going on. There's like underground bunkers. There's underground surveillance things. And it's this really secretive place. The FBI never searches it. The locals don't get to search it because the FBI shut them down. And then you think, is there a bunch of research facilities in the basement there? And if there are, is that why the guy who owns the biotech equity firm that is, you know, trying to work on regenerative medicine? I mean, dude, it does seem a little weird, though, that all of that connection is there. It says Maria Farmer spoke about tunnels and extensive subterranean surveillance rooms at Zorro Ranch. She is the woman who did the first FBI report. Maria Farmer, who is right here, this is her sister Annie who testified. Maria Farmer, Annie Farmer's sister, talked about extensive tunnels and subterranean surveillance rooms under Zorro Ranch. She alleged that all of his residences featured mechanical rooms and tunnel systems. She described the surveillance rooms at Zorro being bigger than houses, enormous, filled with computers, with recording equipment. Virginia mentions the ranch as a Mediterranean-looking castle, and she mentioned Epstein's plans to use it as a breeding ground for eugenics projects, okay? But she doesn't specifically say anything about it. Again, though, it did never get searched. My own personal take is this. I believe Maria Farmer saying that there were underground surveillance rooms or what have you, right? I do. And there's been plenty of talk about the elevator that goes in the basement and the naked picture of Ghislaine. And so, you know, the idea of surveillance, video rooms, a bunch of computers down there, I don't know what they're doing. I absolutely believe Maria Farmer, like, talking about that. Now, what that is, I don't know. If it was a communication hub because he's working with intelligence, if he was doing some type of like Jeffrey Epstein eugenics research down there, or if it was some giant, you know, if he had surveillance on all the rooms in this house and he used to bring people there and record them. I don't know. I don't know like what it is, but I do believe there is some underground thing there. I mean, Maria Farmer's not crazy and, you know, talks about baby farming and all that. I don't know how accurate any of that is, but I do think it's pretty weird that he was obsessed with like this eugenics idea and with that narcissism, believing that he was wanting to sort of like populate a whole strain of like Epstein intelligent beings or whatever. I think he wanted to have a bloodline. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.